Good evening, Blue Water League family. It took a bit of a time, took about a week, but we have finally made it here to stream week 2 of Blue Water League Masters action. My name is Yanni. I am joined by Fury. Fury, I'm a little bit sad that we missed out last week, but we've got a pretty lit matchup going on this week.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we'll go into game two, pretend like it's week number one. Nothing ever happened. We didn't miss a single week at all. We just had to move actual schedule back another week, unfortunately. So here we are with week definitely not number two of BOL Masters. I'm pretty excited for tonight, only because we finally just get to get back on the caster's desk. It's your favorite New Jerseyan duo back at it again, and now we get to see what's going on with a couple really strong-looking teams. Unfortunate start for Mortals, however, TA have come out swinging 2-0 from last week.
Yeah, they beat up on Evo Shade, and Elucidator's Light had a crazy game one on the Annie, 11-2 and 13. The champion was not banned for some reason. Obviously, she caught a couple of nerfs, but I mean, I think she's still really strong.
She is. It's hard to deny a champion that gives you a thorn mail built into her kit on anybody on her team. A huge AoE ultimate, pretty easily stackable point and click stun. And then, of course, Tibbers just running rampant on you. Even if you do manage to kill her, she's probably going to get a trade back kill. So, very strong all around in multiple different roles as well. So, she's still a pretty solid flex pickup.
Yeah, and everything is rolling for Team Ambition Fear, sad but happy, living up to the namesake. Had a game where they went in two kills, two deaths. The rest of the team had 29 kills. No big deal. Just the life of a top laner. Their name is perfect for the role that they play.
Yeah, top lane is not the most fun role in the game for sure. Speaking as a top laner myself, but
I'm so sorry.
you're kind of just either left on an island or fighting is constantly happening in your lane. And he was just on the first side of that coin where it was just, here's your island, you have fun. We're gonna go make plays mid and bot side. We'll grab dragons for you, though. Don't worry.
Grabbing the dragons, obviously very important. Some teams have not put the emphasis on the dragons so far in this league like I would have hoped, but hopefully that'll change with more and more weeks. And I mean, TA Fear in game 2 also very clean. That's why they took the clean 2-0 victory. Alistair has been a name starting to float around in circles of high elo players, and averaged 1 kill every 2 minutes. I mean, listen, my math is not that great. I've got that New Jersey education, but 1 kill every 2 minutes, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's not bad. You're averaging in a 30-minute game 15 kills. Pretty solid play style for sure. You want to be aggressive in this meta right now. You really don't want to be trying to linger into the late game unless you're really trying to play around like ASOL, Kassadin, Riot, something like that. But way Riot is trying to map the game out for you is to get a game over with in 30 minutes. They don't want people sitting on 45, 50-minute games when you have incredibly strong Drakes, Barons, item changes, things like that. So we're going to see a lot of action, I would imagine, tonight in that lane.
Yep, Mortals, as you mentioned, trying to redeem themselves. Their game one, listen, if the season was over after their first game, they'd be the best team in the league. They absolutely stomped on Lit Esports in game 1, but in game 2 and 3, didn't quite go so well. Toxic Gerbil, Flea Pain kind of got wrecked a little bit, and then they just got outscaled in game 3. But these are two teams, they've got a long history together.
Yeah, absolutely. And each one of these individuals, when you're looking through the average rank of this game, it's all master with pretty decently high LP. I mean, you look at Dinosaur Chainsaw, support, TA Fear, sitting at about 275 LP in master. It's going to be a really hectic bot lane, I would imagine, with the playstyle of Alistair. So look for Dinosaur Chainsaw to probably play on something kind of aggressive, just going by the OPGGs if you're familiar with Dinosaur Chainsaw. They do some enchanters, but it is a lot of go in, Nautilus, Amumu, Pike, even style gameplay. And we'll see what happens as we are finally getting into the first draft of the night. Let's see what's going on.
Took us a very long time, a week and some change, to get into this draft, but we've finally gotten there. First ban Aurelion Soul off the board, and then Pantheon getting taken off the table for Fear. It's Mortals on the blue side, Fear on the red side to kick things off. And you touched on it a little bit, the bot lane of Alistar and Dinosaur Chainsaw and the way that they play. These are guys, they play for Converse University. Like, this is a duo bot lane in exactly what you want on your team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just really strong players. That's all you want in a team. Really coachable, easily, camaradeable. I don't even know if that's a word. Just people that you can be able to easily get along with, easily communicate with, and play the play style that you want on your team. And so far, the way they've been playing it is exactly up to their strengths. I don't think they're going to deviate from that too much going into the drafts here, but from what we've been seeing, let's take a look at the bands, right? I can't really see too much. I need a
Don't worry.
a link.
Don't worry. You need some glasses.
I wasn't in the lobby, so
no.
I don't have the link. But I mean, we've got
that's all
Annie
good.
bands.
Don't
We
worry,
talked about
I
that
got you.
Seraphine
I got
band,
you.
Pantheon band.
Don't worry, I got you. We got Tristana and Annie off the board. Meanwhile, on the other side, Seraphine, Galio taken out as well. So this is this is
Hot off the
all right,
press.
hold on. Yes. There is going to be a remake of Draft. Yes. So there is a sub mid laner for Mortals. It's going to be Simon stepping in and listen, I love the fact that these teams are, like there's a lot of sportsmanship here, cuz Mortals saw the bans and were like, yo, I don't know if y'all know, but our starting mid laner's not here.
Yeah, they're like, you guys are scouting the wrong person.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to? And they offered the remake of the draft, and they're gonna get some extra time to scout things out. So you love to see that at this level of play and everything like that. So big ups to Mortals. They want to be the good guys, Mortals.
Yeah, I'm gonna make the executive decision though and throw it to a break. I can't talk about anything anymore, so we're gonna let them go ahead into their secondary scouting time. Give us a few minutes. We'll be right back when we get the ready checks.
Give us some time to do our own scouting.
Exactly.
All right, everybody, welcome into Blue Otter League Masters Week 2. Fury, haven't I done this before?
Getting deja vu all over again, Yanni. But look at this. Game 1 is finally getting underway for the draft. We're going to have a little bit of a change up in the bands, folks, because there is a sub being used for the side of Mortals in Simon74, so they gave him a little bit more time to scout that out. And now, as we see, the bans are changing. We are seeing almost directed bans at Simon. That is a Katarina for him. The Wukong is for both Scorcher and Simon, but both of those currently in Simon's champ pool.
Yeah, you gotta see the sub, and you're like, all right, let's go pick on the sub. Let's make life hard. Elucidator's Light potentially looking to feast. Mortals expecting that sort of thing. They're gonna take the ante off the board, so I think it's a pretty wise move there. Dude, this is just how you draft and how you scout. This is beautiful, normal stuff, and then Fear gonna take care of that Seraphine. It looks like Veigar could be a hover here. I mean, the Mortals. The bot laner, Toxic Gerbil, does play some casters. Plays Veigar, plays Swain.
I was going to say that could be a flex between mid and bot lane.
It could
For
be.
some reason, APC Veigar is becoming a thing again right now, and not the biggest fan of it, but I mean, not because I don't like it, because I don't want to play into it. But it's a really good champion. He got a small buff for some weird reason that makes him extraordinarily strong. Like, it's one of those things where it is very minimal, but really bothers you, like taking the batteries out of a remote. It's like, that's such a small thing to do, but it really messes with you. But we're going to see the Xayah Rakan immediately taken up by TA Fear, the Lovers Duo standard, and now getting a couple different hovers for support Mortals here. We'll see what they end up locking in.
Oh, they're not going to go with the support quite yet. They're going to lock in the Xin Zhao. So Veigar Xin Zhao, I mean, that is already a potent combo. You throw it on the cage, you miss a couple of people, Xin Zhao comes in, sweeps them all into the corners, and that's fantastic. I do like the response, though, with Alistair getting to pick up the Xayah to easily be able to find a way out of the cage if they are in trouble. Nami will be the final pickup of the first half for Mortals. So they've got a lot of zone control going on here.
Yeah, so far the best thing going for TA is the escapability, the kind of disengage that they have going on with Xayah Rakan. Xin Zhao goes in, Xayah can ult, Rakan can ult, and just immediately stop any kind of engage. The Olaf, however, that's a different story. He's looking to run face first at people. So a little bit of a difference in the play styles between the either jungler or top and the bot lane so far.
Yeah, Olaf laughs in the face of your puny CC. It just runs right into the Nami ultimate, runs right through the Veigar cage, and runs down the tiny Master of Evil. That's a great pickup for the side of Fear, especially with the way it could work with their team composition. But as you mentioned, could be top, could be jungle, remains to be seen. So we get into the second half of bans with Sylas being the first one taken off the board, and then Rumble being picked off as well.
Yeah, two very smart bans. I think you and I both had Rumble listed on our champs to look out for, because Rumble has gotten a very good buff recently and has been played by Elucidator's Light very recently as well. So very smart to take that off the board. Extremely strong mid lane, early, mid, and late game now because of those buffs. Have to take that away. And of course, Syndra, that's just always on the table. That need to get taken off the table. And Darius getting hovered, and that's just a sad but happy special.
Yeah, and I love this from TA Fear. They banned mid laners in the second half, saying, you know what, we think that you're going to take the Veigar in the bot lane. They'd be pairing it up with a Nami, which is kind of interesting. I feel like this is a very clear Lucian angle here for Fear, and then they decide that, okay, cool, or I'm sorry, a Lucian angle for Mortals, and then essentially burn those last two bans from Fear.
I do feel like that could just be a possibility. I feel like as soon as Veigar saw Xayah Rakan, it's like, okay, we just shift that into the mid lane, let Lucian Nami, or someone else in Nami cook in the bot lane. Exactly. Yeah. There's no need to throw Veigar into the bot lane. However, now Lissandra does make it a little bit worrisome for him. She can trade into him very well, can play very safe, not really under any major threat of death. Tryndamere getting hovered here. I've been seeing that played on Fluoride. I didn't think he would actually get picked up, though.
Tryndamere, Enjoyer, Fluoride in the top lane. I am actually quite surprised they're letting Fluoride just get this. Tryndamere has played a ton of games on him, but that's just what they've elected to do. And it looks like what we predicted could come to pass here. Looks like this might be a Vagar in the mid lane. We're going to see the Sivir hover. Wonder how long it's going to be before they lock something in. And they will lock her in. And while Sivir Nami is okay as a combo, the Sivir ultimate works wonders with Mortal's composition.
Yeah, I mean, imagine Tryndamere running full speed at you and just spinning to try to kill you. However, that Malphite is a very good pickup to counter that as well. There's a lot of really good back and forth between these two teams.
Yeah, this Malphite is something that I have been surprised. We've seen actually a couple Malphites so far in BOL Masters, which is a lot more than I've thought that we were going to see all season. I mean, everybody knows what Malphite can do. It's just a matter of, is the Malphite going to be able to perform, especially with teams of high levels? It's a lot easier to not group up when you're better at the game.
That's true, yeah. A little bit better communication, just a little bit better game sense and game IQ in general. So, probably not going to see too many mistakes come out from the side of Mortals. However, when they do make a mistake, I'm sure you can believe that TA are going to be punishing that very hard.
Right, and if Malphite ults before Sivir does and gets the idiots running fast, doesn't it kind of like cheapen the Sivir ult a little bit? Makes it a little worse.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, Sivir can still use it to turn and run away. I don't really, at this point, I don't really know a situation where Sivir wants to be running at someone unless they know Malphite's on the other side of the map, or his ultimate's down, or he's just died. But if Malphite's not on the map, and you don't know why he's not on the map, you can't use your ultimate to run at TA Fear, with the fear that Malphite is just going to ult your entire backline and there'll be nothing you can do about it. You'll have no way to disengage. So makes the playstyle for Mortals a little harder for them because you could see the entire way through the exact comp they wanted to go for. And now TA Fear have kind of just counterpicked their way into really messing up their playstyle.
And the one thing that we haven't talked about is that with the Malphite lock-in, it does move the Olaf and guarantee that the Olaf is going to be in the jungle for Buddha, the captain of the team. And how much Olaf can provide value, even though he's a champion that doesn't have hard CC when it comes to ganking.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he can still, he lands a Q. That's it, right? You're
probably
done. That's the meme. Olaf hits a Q, you're dead. You're gone. There's no way to get out of it unless you flash. But even then, if he has Ghost, he's still going to run you down. He hits one more Q, now you're definitely dead. So we could maybe be seeing an invade for the side of TA Fear. I don't think it's spectacular because there is a little bit of counter on the side of Mortals depending on what abilities they level up. I can't imagine Vigar is going to want to start Cage. But Nami could hit a nice bubble. However, Rakan could hit a nice knock-up. We'll see how it goes. I'd like to see an early invade for sure, just because I think they are very strong. But we'll see if they decide to play it safe or not.
Oh, no, you go for it, man. Listen, you are trying to make a statement in game one. And, I think that taking it to Mortals here in, the early goings of game one is exactly what TA Fear would want to do because Mortals came so scorchingly hot out of the gate last week. And one thing that we do want to watch out for as well, Dinosaur Chainsaw, this Rakan is not in the wheelhouse from what you typically see out of this player.
Yeah, it's there. There's been a few games on it. Decent win rate on it, right? It's not the most mechanically balanced champion, but you do need to have a lot of communication. That's the big thing. Him and Xayah need to be on the same wavelength when they're going for these fights. And if they haven't really gotten around that playstyle yet with Rakan, kind of plays like Leona, Nautilus a little bit. However, he can have the advantage of going in and then backing back out rather than just all inning. So we'll see if they have that synergy after only what looks like a few games of that Rakan.
Yeah, they do, as we mentioned, have a lot of synergy together. The fact that these players are on the roster for Converse University. And really, when you think about it as a whole, this is a matchup between two teams that do have a lot of experience together. And I mean, this is honestly going to be a really impressive game. Should be a lot of fireworks. Mortals, they won URL Champions Summer 2022. They were in the finals for the Big East Collegiate Series in spring 2022. And on the other side, Team Ambition Fear. You know, everybody knows who Team Ambition is if you're watching these streams. This is a large amateur organization that fields NACL qualifier teams. Like, there's a lot of backing there, and I'm sure anything that this team needs or wants, they're going to get.
Absolutely. We'll see what the play style looks like tonight. Are they going to keep up with that aggressive style, or are they going to play a little bit safe? Both sides kind of have their ways of just trading ever so slightly, but not really wanting long trades. So we'll see if it's going to be action packed or if it's going to be a little bit of a farm fest for the first 10-15 minutes and then just an all out war for the end of the game. But don't go anywhere. We're going to throw it to a quick break while we wait out our spectator delay, and we'll be right back with you on the roof for game number 1.
All out war! Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it onto Summoner's Rift for game 1 of this best of 3 set. The first stream game of BOL Masters this season. It took us a while, but we are here. Mortals on your blue side, TA Fear on the red side, Yanni and Fury on the call. Are we going to see All Out War at level 1? It doesn't look like it. I'm very sad.
Does not look like it. Oh, Simon trying to get a little bit of cheese off onto Elucidator's life there. It doesn't quite land it. Elucidator gets the last laugh out of that one, but a standard 5-point setup for both sides. I can't imagine we're going to see a whole lot happening in the early game, if I'm honest. Maybe a little bit of poke at most. Maybe Fluoride just tries to run down Sad but Happy in the first 3 levels. But other than that, Vigar versus Lissandra, not going to be a whole lot in the way of poking, probably just a lot of farming. Then in the bot lane, it's just going to be poke, but sustain from Rakan and Nami. So I'm expecting to not see a whole lot until Buddha starts getting around the map and Scorcher starts getting around the map.
Yeah, although Fleet Pain, I don't know if they know what's going on here. Everybody's all stacked up. They're kind of waiting this Nami to get a little close. They're going with a late invade
Uh-oh.
here. Oh, Fleet Pain finally spots this out, sees the bot lane plus Buddha show up, and they want to make this fight happen as they are looking to really disrupt this red buff. A flash burnt from Toxic Gerbil, and a flash burnt out of Fleet Pain as well. Fantastic late invade from TA Fear.
Really, even though Mortal saw it coming from a mile away, it still somehow worked to get 2 flashes out of it. Scorcher now has to go start on his top side, leashless on that blue. He's going to come out of it, still relatively healthy, but definitely not as healthy or as quick as he would have liked to if he actually got his start on the bot side. And it looks like Buddha is even going to just completely clear out that red.
Yeah, this is fantastic stuff out of Buddha. And this is what happens when, 3/5 of your team is on another team. Buddha, Alistair, Dinosaur, Chainsaw must have said in the comms, guys, we do this all the time against collegiate teams. Watch this. Go over and invade the bot lane, take out that buff. And that's exactly how you want to draw it up. And now you see Buddha heading back up to their own red buff to get the 3-buff start.
And we saw the movement come from Elucidator's Light as well. The perfect shove into the tower of Simon to roam up to the red to check over the wall to see if the red was still there or if Scorcher had decided to try vertical jungle. And probably smart that he didn't. He's going to get 3 buffed, but it saves him from dying in the early game. And I think that's a little bit more worth it.
Yeah, a tough loss, but an L that you have to take sometimes. That's really where a lot of deaths come from in League of Legends. You just don't want to take the L that badly, and then you take the L even harder if that happens. You saw an L getting distributed in the bot lane with Alistair and Chainsaw hitting level 2 first, trading nicely in that bot lane, and you saw the top lane and mid lane snooze fests here. Tryndamere is not going to be able to do too much at this Malphite.
Yeah, Sabbath Happy and Fluoride basically going even in every trade so far, coming out the exact same amount of health. So nothing really doing up there, just about even in CS as well, both starting the D shields despite their nerfs. I feel like Fluoride probably could have gone something else is a little more sustained with the Tryndamere if you wanted to go D-Blade. But it's still going to work out regardless. But now we're seeing a little bit of an early gank topside from Scorcher.
Yeah, is he going to be able to get there? Will force the flash out of the Malphite. A very solid gank there from Scorcher Blaze, despite being put behind, still able to make something happen.
Yeah, and now the prio for Dragon is in the side of TA Fear. Elucidator's Light can still push in that wave. The back timers for Gerbil and Pain just went through as they are shoving a cannon minion. Wave under tower is Alistar, but it doesn't look like they're going to really set up for this Drake just yet. They're getting some vision around it. We did just see the back from Buddha, but it looks like he may be heading back towards the bot side to pick up blue and potentially go for Drake with this team.
Yeah, and just see Chainsaw ready and waiting, trying to make something happen. So Elucidator's Light with the full engagement here. Dinosaur Chainsaw looking to land the knockup is going to go take a couple of tower shots for it. The Ignite goes down, and the last auto attack is there, and it's going to be first blood going over to Lissandra.
Very nicely played by Dinosaur Chainsaw off of that roam. Thankfully for Elucidator's Light, he actually is able to get the kill and not that Ignite there. So you got to feel really good if you're Lissandra on this one. And now your team does have the advantage over this first Chemtech Drake coming up here. Buddha and Chainsaw going to go ahead and take this while everybody else is none the wiser. No vision at all on this Drake for the side of Mortals. So we're not need to see Gerbil and Pain roam up here to get vision on it.
Really fantastic rotation here out of TA Fear. Run to the mid lane, get the kill, go take the Drake. Dinosaur Chainsaw is doing so much early on.
Yeah, was able to go all the way mid, help get a kill, and Alistar still up in CS. And really not at any risk from Gerbil and Fleet Pain. There's not a whole lot of kill pressure from them. Even if a bubble were to land, Gerbil, maybe throws a Q out and gets a couple auto attacks in, but won't really have major kill threat against Alistar, especially when he has both of his sums still up.
And you can see Scorcher Blaze starting to get into the side of Buddha's jungle. Has a feeling that Buddha's on the bot lane, gonna take some spoils up there, get a little bit of revenge. Still down quite a few camps, but you feel a little bit better about it.
Yeah, and we are basically just seeing vertical jungling now. Oh, instead, we are going to see Buddha run into the mid lane.
They've dropped everything they can. Elucidator doing a very good job making sure they don't get stunned to the last moment. Buddha will be the one picking that one up. And once again, picking on the substitute mid laner, Simon having a rough go at things.
And we just saw it on the map as well. It looks like Buddha just question mark pinged the top side of his map on the Krugs and on the Raptors. Pretty much essentially knowing that Scorcher Blaze is on his top side because Buddha is able to go into the bot side of Scorcher and pick everything up. Looks like they're going to potentially go for that red as well, as we are seeing Elucidator move onto that side of the map as well. Or maybe for a dive bot side, they don't quite have a wave just yet, but they are going to get spotted out, and we are seeing the backs come through.
Yeah, well warded up there by Flea Pain. And Scorcher Blaze heading back to their own side. They are going to be able to pick up their blue buff, but red buff has spawned up. It looks like Buddha's just kind of waiting. No, he is on it finally. There we go. No surprise there. And once again, Scorcher Blaze just... I hesitate to use this terminology, but I mean, it's looking like a bit of a diffy in the jiffy right now, man.
It's not too bad just yet. He has, he has 1 kill down and about 3 camps. It's not terrible compared to what it was earlier. He was down about 5 camps earlier. Brought it down, kind of evened it out just a little bit. Not super down, but a fight in the bot side.
Gerbil's got a flash away. Flea Pain completely out of mana. Alistar also low, but no summoners burnt on their side, aside from the Ignite coming out from the Rakan.
And Toxic Gerbil and Flea Pain have the wave pushing towards them as well, so they can take this slightly safe, but that Boomerang Blade is going to push it right back out. Gerbil's going to have to back on this one.
Yeah, just no mana, and unfortunately for Sivir players everywhere, you do not get much mana back anymore from the shield. I don't actually think you even get any mana.
You get any mana back.
I think it's just all health now. I haven't played this champion in quite some time.
You do not get mana back at all. It's a pretty big nerf on her. However, Spell Shield is still a Spell Shield. It's still really good for the kit, but it does make her sustain a whole lot harder. And Gerbil has just gone straight for BF Sword Vamp Scepter start. That is an interesting start, but now we're fighting jungle.
Oh, Buddha is CC immune. He's flashed, forces the flash of the Scorcher Blaze.
Ooh.
Just has to land the swag axe as he walks out. And the 3rd kill for the side of TA Fear.
Call Dwayne Wade. Buddha's hitting fadeaways under the tower. Now they're going to move right onto the Rift Herald here. Buddha and Dinosaur Chainsaw, who has roamed from the bot side up to the top just because he can at this point. Alistair's got a following, 20 CS lead just about. Pretty solid gold lead overall. I can imagine just by the purchases right now. I imagine Gerbil had to sell to pick up that BF Sword Vamp set start. That's going to be Rift Herald going down. The only question is where are they going to drop it. You do have Rift Herald coming up in just about the next minute or so. So maybe drop it mid lane to go bot lane for and get the prio.
Yeah, there are many options that they could go towards. Everybody would be a fine recipient of it. Especially, maybe you want to help out Alistar a little bit, because you can see they're in a lot of trouble. They're going to flash forward to kill Toxic Gerbil, and in the 3v1, they managed to trade 1-for-1.
Yeah, 1-for-1's not bad in a 3-for-1. I would always say worth in that kind of situation, just because it makes me feel better to say it. But I still would say it's worth it. They have to send 3 people to kill you, but to fight in the jungle here, river.
There's going to be some problems. Elucidator's Light is A-OK. Scorcher Blade's going to try to get on top of them, but it's another kill here for the Lissandra. And Buddha has just been everywhere so far. The only spot they weren't was when Alistar just died, but they immediately come in and pick up a kill in the jungle, and they're going to parlay that into the second Drake of the game here at 10 minutes.
And that went from slightly worth it to definitely not. Scorcher getting caught there right on the Drake. Buddha and Chainsaw, the duo of the century right now when it comes to taking these objectives. Dinosaur Chainsaw has assisted in 3 of them out of the 3. And Buddha just going to pick that up. I'm not even sure if he dropped. He didn't. He didn't even need to drop Rift Herald for that either. So that's a huge goal advantage they're going to have here. He's going to want to drop it in the next couple of minutes, obviously, so they can obviously use it and get some plates out of it. But Sad But Happy and Fluoride, this is the first time we're going top in about 10 minutes. Slight action up there, but nothing afterwards.
They had nothing at all going on. Did you see that heal forced out of Toxic Gerbil? The mere sight of Alistair and Dinosaur Chainsaw scared the ever-living daylights out of him. It's like, I gotta get out of here. So both summoners are down, and very critically important that Alistair still has that heal, can really start turning these fights down in the bottom lane. And the Elucidator's Light continuing to do their thing, and Simon has not been able to make very much of an impact, neither in the lane or on the roam game.
Yeah, unfortunately not, and not until 14 minutes are we going to see Sad But Happy be able to TP around the map to use that ultimate to help out his teammates, and I don't think he's going to have any luck trying to kill Fluoride with it, so that's just going to be an ult that's, I don't think, going to get used until maybe on its second upgrade. Buddha potentially looking for a dive here, has the Rift Herald available. He's going to proxy the wave while his team is bringing it in. Here comes
everybody's here.
Light.
Dinosaur Chainsaw with a great ult and the double knockup. Down goes the Gerbil, and Flea Pain is in a lot of trouble, and they're going to fall next. A well-executed dive by TA Fear.
Yeah, very nicely done juggling around the tower aggro there from Chainsaw to Alistair to Buddha. Simon trying to come bot lane to stop it, but he may just be
Simon.
His death here.
Simon says it's time to die. He will fall next. One thing that we didn't even see off camera is that Malphite won the 2v1 up top. Scorcher Blaze died. Fluoride almost went down as well. I thought for a second that I knew what the Rock was cooking, and they're not done yet in the bot lane. Flea Pain has to run scared, but they are going to flow upstream and get taken down. And two turrets for TA Fear, a near 8,000 gold lead at the 13-minute mark.
And then Gerbil decides to tank his teammate's Black Frostite's body and took about 50% of his entire health bar off of that. He will just be able to pull it up off that. That's nuts. 800 top side. Sad But Happy somehow has a almost now 800 gold lead over Fluoride. We're seeing a
2,400 in the jungle. 28 in the 18 in the mid lane. Sorry.
18.
Like I said, listen, I did say earlier in the draft that I'm not good at math.
Almost 2k ADC, and then about 800 on support. It is a giant gold lead right now. 7k pre-15 for the side of TA Fear. They're going to be looking to escalate that off this as well.
Pick looking pretty good. Scorcher Blaze had to flash away. Alistair in the 2v1 could be in trouble. Simon's going to drop the ultimate, but the heal from Alistair is well-timed. You're trying to find a way onto Fluoride now. It's going to be a charm. Fluoride low, still alive. Simon drops the cage. Here comes the Nami tidal wave, looking to break up the fight. Scorcher Blaze is here. Chainsaw gets in the middle of 4, looking like Trimby, but Elucidator's Light on the backside drops the ultimate, and they're going to find 2 members. A patiently played fight by TA Fear, and it's all them.
Yeah, that was a little bit back and forth, but all in all was just all TA Fear. It looked like maybe Mortals would have a way to get another kill, or maybe even 2 off the backside of it, but unfortunately, that is not what happened at all. Simon patiently waiting out that ultimate, but Alistar just waiting long enough for the heal to be able to keep him alive. Bot side, we are seeing Sad But Happy just run down towers. Now a almost 10k gold lead right at the 10-minute mark, and this is, I don't want to say it, but it is TA Fear's game to lose at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at the suite of mythics they have across the board. Mythics on everybody. Toxic Gerbil, you know, they've got a Bloodthirster, but they have no way of stopping this Malphite. They had to flash. Scorcher Blaze is trying to chase down the big rock, but he's really fast. Simon looking to come in and potentially stop the rock in his tracks. He's going to put it in the baby cage. He's trying to dip, duck, dive, and dodge. Is still alive, but will finally fall. All of that work, and they do take down the boulder.
Just in time for Scorcher's ultimate to come off of cooldown as well for this Drake that's coming out very soon. So Sad But Happy getting taken down, doesn't have his ultimate. They could fight around this Cloud Drake if they choose to do so, but Buddha is going to find Scorcher in his own jungle, and I don't know if he's going to get away.
They got the slow. Gerbil's trying to help out. But Scorcher Blaze is between a rock and a hard place. Although the Nami ultimate is there, we're going to deal a lot of damage. The stun comes out. Buddha and Chainsaw are forced to back off. Scorcher Blaze needs to back as well, so it looks like it'll be an early, very early, probably one of the earliest I've ever seen Soul Point for TA Fear.
Yeah, it's going to come out right about 16:30 if they finish that off in the next 10 or so seconds. Scorcher Blaze does get out alive just by the skin of his teeth. You can thank Flea Pain for that one. Buddha will secure this Drake, and they're probably going to move right up to the Rift Herald as well. Soul Point and Rift Herald in the same breath, and now Fluoride unfortunately going to get caught out here.
Oh yeah, they're going down. No, never mind.
No,
they're gonna
he
be able to flash
flashes over.
out. They somehow escaped. Fluoride manages to find a way out, but it looks like they're trying to set up for a dive on this mid lane turret. It's very low. Sad but Happy is there, and Veigar gets caught up in it and gets dropped quickly.
That has ultimate. I don't know if the remaining 3 members realize that here in the mid lane, as the rest of the TA Fears go back up to this Rift Herald. If they look to dive there, Sad but Happy would have hit a 3-man ultimate and probably blown them up immediately. Alstars just go to the top side here. We're going to see Lissandra with a TP down to the bot to just save whatever is remaining on that tower from crashing. That's going to be Rift Herald picked up. 17.5 minutes in. It's a 10k gold lead. There are only 2 inner towers remaining before we get to those inhib towers. And we do have a wave pushing in the top side, and we'll see where they end up dropping Rift Herald.
Yeah, this is just all TA Fear. They could drop it anywhere and it won't matter. Really, the question they may be asking themselves now is, where do we drop it that gives us the best chance of dancing Shelly?
Yeah, I would have to say in the bot side, right? You just get a good push going mid. Maybe just have Lissandra push out mid and send everybody else bot with the Rift Herald. And just try to shove in from there. I don't know if they'll be able to end the game with it, though, this early. You do have Veigar's wave clear still. They can still tank it a little bit, but we'll see what ends up happening if they get a nice catch to come out. Fluoride just trying to clear out the bot wave here.
Yeah, they are smacking people with wallets at this point, Fury. I mean, we see Lissandra's got a fully stacked up Darksteel Horizon Focus to pick up. I've been seeing more and more mid laners start to pick up Horizon Focus. It just dawned on me that it works exceedingly well with Lissandra passive.
Yeah, it's a very, very good item just in general. Honestly, really good poke, just overall damage. Oh,
Well,
and
like
we
have
have some technical difficulties.
Very, very minor delay here as, had a quick bit of a game closure there. But it's no big deal. Everything will be A-okay. It looks like we are back. We are good to go. All right, sorry about that. As we jump right into the action as they are trying to chase down Elucidator's Light. But look at the damage that gets turned back around on to Fluoride. The 9 out of the 10 dentists do not recommend taking that much damage.
Yeah, and I don't think you can chase after Lissandra for that long, sending 4 mid after 1 while you are losing your bot lane here. Shelly is pushing through. I don't think we're going to see that here. Fluoride, Scorcher, and Gerbil are here.
We could see the dancing Rift Herald.
No, they're going to die.
No, they left her out to dry. How could you? TA Fear. Why?
They're going to move mid lane to take out this tower here. They're probably going to look to dive, potentially. Sad but Happy ult up.
It's the right move, I know, but it still makes me sad. We see the pigs going down onto the Baron. They're going for the 20-minute Baron. The early bird gets the worm, and TA Fear is ready for it. You cannot complete challenges in custom games, but they are certainly trying.
I don't know if you need to take Baron here. I think you can solidly just take a team fight right in the mid lane there with how strong you are. Plenty of items up, but Baron is just going to add the insult to the injury. So we'll see if they're able to win. I would imagine they win within the next 5 minutes. They should be able to end while still having this Baron buff. They can easily take a team fight and win it. We'll see what they do.
Let me ask you something, Fury. Would you rather... You said they don't need the Baron, but would you rather win a team fight with Baron or without Baron?
I mean, I'd rather win without Baron. It just goes to show we don't need a buff.
No, stop that.
We don't need a buff.
They got an extra 300 gold in all their pockets. Look, Lissandra's got her ego book.
Yeah, the 300 gold. Book. That's what it is. Instead of ending the game a minute and a half earlier, it's the ego book.
Yeah, listen, Ego Book is great. You finish a game fully stacked with that, oh, you're feeling good. You're
That is a
feeling,
good feeling.
oh yeah, it
Honestly.
feels so good. And, Malphite feeling good as well. 2 items, both anti-armor. And I mean, this Vagar is the only thing that can deal any damage to this giant glacial chasm walking at people. And 041 is not going to get the job done.
Definitely not, and not really when you don't want to be using all of your abilities on Malphite either. You want to try to use those to blow up Zaya, to try to kill Lissandra. Olaf even, the only issue is don't have the damage to do it. There's not a whole lot of DPS on the side of Mortals. Sivert doesn't have attack speed, finally has those Berserker's Greaves, but just with a BT, I don't know that we're going to see Gerbil finish a mythic item in this game.
Ugh, yikes. See, off screen,
22-minute
Soul is going to be claimed. Yep, just before 22 minutes. Incredibly impressive stuff out of TA Fear, and all that's left is for them to just put the exclamation point onto this game. They're trying to take
doing it
on
again.
the Lissandra, but Lissandra just has too much ability to escape. This means mid lane inhibitor turret, not long for this world. The inhibitor is next, sad but happy. He's bearing on the Nexus turrets with a bunch of minions. Nami tight away from the side. The flash of the ultimate from Olaf as he looks to run down the entire crew. Knock up on the side from Sad but Happy. Scorcher Blaze on the back line. They fall. Next one down is the Sivir. Elucidator's Light. Absolutely dominating. 2 members left. Fluoride has to go into the Undying Rage. Vagar falls, and so will the Nexus turrets as TA Fear put the fear of God into Mortals for game 1.
Very, very well played for TA Fear in that game. Absolutely popped off. There wasn't a time in this game that they were down or they looked sketchy at all. Everything was clear-cut, concise, and tailored the exact way they wanted to play it. I can't wait to see the gold graph. It's just going to be, I imagine, TA the entire way up.
It's going to be dummy thick for TA. Let me tell you. I mean, there's really no surprise. They had 3 members in double figures for gold, or 10k plus. You got 10.4 out of the mid lane, 10.2 out of the jungle, 11k out of Alistair, who really quietly had a fantastic game. It really felt like the Buddha and Elucidator show.
It really did. They were both all over the map. You got to give credit to Alistair still. Basically being in a 1v2 the entire game because of the fact that Dinosaur Chainsaw was just off the map the entire time. 0013. And Alistair was able to just chill out, farm, still end up 4-1-3, about 8,600 gold worth of damage. 8,600 gold? 8,600 damage. And just more than the entire enemy team combined. Or not combined, but just in general.
Definitely a lot. Definitely
8,600.
Really one of the most dominating games I've seen in any league in any level of BOL. I mean, it just from the word go, TA Fear was full throttle. I was sad that I didn't see All Out War at level 1. No, we did see All Out War at level 1. Buddha, Alistair, Dinosaur Chainsaw with that late invade made it work perfectly. And I don't really know if Mortals are going to have an answer to something like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of racking my mind with what does Mortals need to change in their draft. Besides what they're picking, I don't know what they can change as far as bans go. I do know as far as picks, they need a little bit more sustainability and DPS, I would say mainly on their bot side. Top side, I don't know if Tryndamere was the greatest pickup. Obviously, he's been playing a lot of it. I don't know if it really fit the overall comp. So I'd like to see him change it up a little bit with who's on carries and who's on utility next game.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of their issues were because their composition couldn't really get off the ground. And it's not even so much a late game composition or anything like that. Like, these are champions that can scrap at really any time of the game where their strengths are a little bit different. But they just could not get off the ground. They got absolutely slammed into the dirt. So hopefully as they go into the next game, hit the drawing board, hit the draft, that Mortals are going to be able to pick another team comp that hopefully works for them and ensure that once they get into the game, they don't get hands diffed. But we are going to take a very short break. And when we return, we will give you all the action from the draft of Game 2 between Mortals and TA Fear. Welcome back, Blue Otter League family, as we are in the draft for Game 2 between Mortals and TA Fear. Yanni and Fury still on the call, and Fury, TA Fear, they did bad things to Mortals.
They definitely put on a clinic in the last game. As we're seeing here, the sides have been flipped as well. TA going to be on your blue side, Mortals going to be on the red side. So basically same band so far. Wukong and Katarina getting taken away from Simon, and then Asol Annie getting banned away from Elucidator's Light. See what the final two that come through are. Will they keep it the same? That is the question. Is it going to be the Tristana and the Seraphine?
I mean, they have to throw some wrinkles into this draft, Immortals, right? Like, unless they're just going to go with the salty run back and say, hey, we didn't lose because of draft, we lost because things didn't go the way we wanted in the early game. But this time there's going to be a couple of changes here. Silas is going to get picked away, which means the Seraphine is open, and they wanted to pick that up for themselves. They get that nice little fourth ban, first pick type deal. Caitlyn taken off the board, and as we mentioned, that Seraphine first pick going through for TA Fear, it's an important flex for them.
Yeah, and for Mortals, it's less about their bans and more about their picks in the game. I think their bans are fine. The Annie, the Asol, Caitlyn's a good ban away as well. I mean, she's still good. I don't think she is super worth a ban over Seraphine. And it looks like Mortal's going to pick up the Lovers duo themselves. Zaya Rakan in the bot lane. A little bit of a reverse salty run back, I guess. If they're taking their own, the other duo of the bot lane, the whole anything you can do, I can do better kind of situation. So we'll see what TA has to pick up into that and maybe hopefully confirm where the Seraphine is going to be going in the next couple of picks.
Yeah, any serious bot lane, when you're trying to compete at a higher level with their salt is going to be able to play Zyarakan. The fact that they get that opportunity to pick it away is pretty nice. We're going to see the Gragas follow up here. That one is certainly going to be a Buddha standard, as Buddha plays a ton of Gragas, much like Fluoride playing a lot of Tryndamere. Gragas Enjoyer for the side of Buddha. They're also going to be able to pick up the Nautilus for Dinosaur Chainsaw. Got a 69% win rate on him. Nice.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit nervous whenever I see Gragas immediately picked up after a Seraphine. I'm sure that they will make it work. However, when I see that happen, I get flashbacks of Gragas ult and then Seraphine ult just whiffing because of it, because there were no comms being thrown out on when to actually use those ultimates. So we'll see if any anti-synergy comes through on those two ults. I would hope not. However, the J4, a little bit of an odd pickup into the Seraphine, personally, because now you're kind of trapping yourself in a circle to let Seraphine hit you with an ult. So now it's a bit iffy for me on that draft. I feel like they could have done something a little bit better.
Well, with the Jarvan, that does allow them to just go buff into immediate gank, which it looks like, the fact that they got run off the Rift the first game, Mortals is trying to look to up the tempo a little bit with this Jarvan pick, and we'll have to see how that shakes out as we've gotten into the second half of bans. Darius taken off the board. That one aimed at Sad but Happy. Galio also taken out. It's, a very popular champion and would fit really well into the Jarvan Galio composition that they would have tried to put together. Malphite and Camille also getting taken off the board for each team's respective top laner. So definitely going after that top lane pool just a little bit. We'll have to see how deep these guys are willing to reach into their pockets.
Yeah, I like taking the Malphite off of the board, even though he didn't really get to show his roaming impact off the ultimates. He showed how strong he was even in a 1v2 situation all the way up in the top side while he was on his lonely little island, as Syndra gets picked up for the mid lane on the side of Mortals for Simon. I'm interested in this draft. I really am. I feel like there's a lot that we can see TA pick up right now that are just really hard counters into both the J4 and the Syndra. Kai'Sa's going to be a good pickup with the Nautilus. I feel like you kind of have to do that unless they went Samira. I'm a big Samira enjoyer. Final pickup,
God, I
Probably
hate that
want to see
champion.
some 80, maybe a bruiser top laner here.
Yeah,
Something like
there
Asante wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, there are a couple of options for Sad But Happy. If they want to go for range and maybe start poking a little bit, they could go Jace, but it looks like Hecarim is going to be the pickup here.
Okay.
So this throws a couple of wrinkles into things because this could be a Gragas top lane then,
Gotta be,
which
right?
wouldn't be too out of the ordinary. It would be definitely out of the ordinary if there's a Hecarim top lane, but I know a couple of Hecarim top laners have been floating around BOL Masters. Very interesting to see where these champions will end up going. I would think it would have been a slam dunk for Gragas in the top lane, but maybe not. We are going to see Urgot be the final pickup here for the side of Mortals. It's a very fine last pick. It just feels like once that champion hits level 14 and up, he becomes nigh unkillable.
It definitely works. My only thing is I've seen a lot of the Gragas Urgot matchups, and most of them have gone the way of the Gragas. I don't know if that's just a skill issue, if it's, just players with better micro, whatever it is, but the trend I've been seeing is Gragas is ultimately winning over Urgot. Just his, belly charge. Just on repeat, and Urgot trying to flip him and ends up going through him. It's a whole weird interaction. So I'm excited to watch it. I feel like it's actually going to be a little bit more of a hectic top lane than it was last game. I still think it's ultimately going to be a little bit of a farm fest. Gragas is not really going to want to take long trades into Urgot. So I feel like we're going to be more looking again towards the mid and jungle between the Seraphine and the Hecarim. Hecarim's going to be moving around a lot. J4 is going to be moving around a lot. Syndra will have kill pressure after 6. Probably not a whole lot going to be happening in the bot lane pre-6, but I'd imagine we see a few pokes.
Well, there is a little bit of kill pressure here that Syndra Jarvan have as a combo. Seems like they're a little bit better than Seraphine Hecarim in terms of being able to lock down a target. So we'll have to see. There is opportunity for them to kill that Seraphine in the mid lane. And really the big question is Flea Payne's roaming going to be on the level of Dinosaur Chainsaws? We saw last game, Dinosaur Chainsaw making moves up and down the map, impacting everywhere. Flea Payne is going to have a game like that if they want to force the game 3.
Absolutely. I don't know. It's going to be probably easier this game, but also harder. He's playing Rakan, so it's a little bit easier to move around, but it's going to be harder because you don't want to leave Xayah alone with Kai'Sa and Nautilus. Because you can no longer stand in front of Xayah and take the hook and then just dash back to her. So this game, I imagine, is just going to be a 2v2 the entire way through. I don't think we're going to be seeing a whole lot of roams coming out of Flea Payne. If we do, they're going to have to be very safe. Xayah's going to have to be pushed in, close to tower to where she can farm safely without worry about getting absolutely blown up by a Nautilus Kai'Sa Hecarim combo.
And one thing that we didn't really talk about, although we touched on it just a little bit about the roaming, this Nautilus definitely allows Dinosaur Chainsaw to roam themselves. And mind you that Nautilus is a champion that's much more in the comfort zone of Dinosaur Chainsaw. So it does beg the question, how well are we going to see this player perform on one of their premier champions? And we saw last game that Rakan, not really one of their champions of choice, and how well they did and what they put out there in that last game was really fantastic.
Sorry, cut out there. My Discord is just... I love Discord and League client trying to merge together, how it just cuts out sometimes, so I miss 2 seconds of conversation. But from what I did pick up off of that, yeah, regardless, didn't look like they were going to be comfortable on the champion, right? But maybe, who knows, maybe he's just one of those people who can pick up a champion and just automatically it clicks. Maybe Rakan's a little bit of an easier champion. Who knows? Could be both. But definitely shows the prowess of Dinosaur Chainsaw and how strong they are and how a champion ocean could look like a champion puddle. Popped off on the Rakan in the last game, 0-13. We'll see if they're able to continue to go deathless on this Nautilus game. I feel like it'll be a little bit harder on the Nautilus to go deathless when you're constantly going all in for your team, but we'll have to see how it ends up working out for them. Any early predictions? What do you think we're going to be seeing in the first 10 minutes of the game?
My big wonder is if we're going to see another late invade come through from TA Fear. Because now they know that, okay, it's on the table for that to potentially happen to us. let's, are they gonna, are Mortals gonna ward against it? Or are they gonna lean into it? The composition doesn't exactly scream, you know, denying a level 1 invade. Whereas TA Fear, Hecarim, Alistar, and Alistar, sorry, Alistair, I should say, and Nautilus are running at you. This combination of Hecarim, Nautilus, Kaisa can get kills, whereas the combination of Jarvan, Rakan, Zaya isn't exactly doing a whole lot in the early goings. So that is my big question, if we're going to see something like that happen again. And real quick, looks like we're going to see Gragas top lane, Hecarim jungle. I know not everybody is surprised by that, but there have been a couple of Hecarim top lanes, so no surprise here.
Yeah, so there's gonna be the confirmation, AP top, Gragas, and yeah, there is. If you look at the comps, TA Fear wants to go all in. At the same time, Mortals doesn't want to be anywhere near that. They maybe just want to do a 5-point, maybe just get a ward on, instead of actually having to sit there and act as a human ward, because if they get hit by a Nautilus hook, it's all over for them. They're going to have to flash, they're going to have to use some kind of ability to try and get out, and it may not even be worth it to flash at that point. It might, if you get hit by the dredge line, it might be worth it to just say, hey, you got me, I need to die because I need this flash for later, for when Hecarim tries to gank early, because we know J4 is going to gank early, and he's probably going to want to counter gank. I want to see them do an early invade. I don't even want to see a late invade. I want to see them 5-stack, run bot lane through the tri-brush, and try to look for an early kill.
Yeah, it is possible they will be able to make that happen, especially since that Mortals are going to be on high alert for anything fishy to happen, especially around that river brush, that pixel brush. So, throwing a couple of curveballs out here could really take them off balance, and you saw what happened in the last game. They lose out on that. They had a couple of flashes burnt. They lost a buff, and it really felt like that Mortals could never get their feet settled under them. So it's going to be really important going into this game.
Yeah, we'll see how the tempo changes. We'd like to see Mortals be able to kind of play the game the way they wanted to do it, dictate it. They were kind of playing reactionary rather than proactively in the last game. I want to see them play a little bit more proactively now that they have that J4 as well. I want to see early, constant repeat ganks, primarily in the top and mid. It's going to be a little bit harder to gank bot, I would say. Nautilus, Kaisa, it's just hard to do that because Nautilus can easily just stand in front and stop you on your flag drag. So go top, go mid, try to get flashes early, and then repeat before those flashes are back up. I'm just excited to get back into the game. Hopefully, I want to see a game 3. After the last game, I want to see Mortals get some redemption after that. But
yeah,
we'll
Mortals
see what happens
is
in the
gonna
next
have
couple
to
minutes.
show a little bit of fight, and Jarvan needs to be constantly ganking. I want to see ganks at level 2, level 2.5, level 3, level 4. I want to see this Jarvan everywhere. But much like a great Jarvan EQ combo, we're going to go over the wall for a little bit, and we'll see you on the other side. So we're in the spectator delay, and when we return, we'll be on the Rift for Game 2 between the series between Mortals and Team Ambition Fear. Alright, Blue Ladder League family, we have made it onto the Rift for Game 2 between Mortals and Team Ambition Fear. This time, Team Ambition Fear is on the blue side. We'll see how that changes the game plan just a little bit, Fury. You can see, as you mentioned, they are going through the bot side, but that's not the team that you expected to go through the bot side.
No, it is. It is. This is exactly what I wanted to see go through the bot side. I want to see Dinosaur Chainsaw come up through the river here and hit Toxic Gerbil. Dinosaur Chainsaw is in first here. Flash Q.
Target acquired. Target acquired. Dinosaur Chainsaw is lumbering over, but TA Fear, they're gonna back off a little. All right, interesting pathing out of Dinosaur Chainsaw, but everybody's A-okay anyway.
I expected the Flash Q to come through. I guess they decided it was not worth it. If he hits max Flash Q, his team really can't follow him. But at the same time, Toxic Gerbil would probably have to flash it. So flash for flash would probably be worth it. But, you know, I'm not in their head, so I don't know what they're talking about on their side. Ends up working out for them regardless. Standard 5-point setup yet again. And looks like everybody's just going to go back to their respective lanes. J4 is going to start the top side. We are seeing the fake leash come from Toxic Gerbil and Flea Pain as well, I believe. Or are they just, nope, never mind. They're just going to walk in with their wave. Never mind. I thought they were faking it. So now they know J4 is starting top side.
Yeah. And one really big thing is this is a huge favor to Mortals because we didn't get to see how they were going to do in the first game because of, you know, all of the little situations that happened early on in the game, but now everybody's got flashes and everything. Ridgeline does go a little bit wide as Alistair and Dinosaur Chainsaw trying to impose their will in the Lovers duo down here.
Unfortunate miss there for Dinosaur Chainsaw. All is well still. Doesn't hit the wall. I think if he hits the wall on the other side, it ends up being really bad for him as Gerbil and Pain will be able to easily trade, maybe take him down to about half health. But now, in the mid lane here, we'll probably be seeing the exact same thing we saw in the last game. For lack of a better word, it's snooze fest, right? It's just going to be constant farming in the early game. Past level 6, let Simon push R, let Eludicator go around the map and push R. I hope it happens, but I just know in my heart of hearts the first 6 levels here are going to be just farming, nobody really trading back and forth.
But you see the pings coming down here. It looks like Scorcher Blaze will get spotted out. They're going to look to walk through Flea Pain, forcing a flash out of Alistair early. And that's how it started last game, Fury. A couple of flashes burned, and then the kills came through.
Yeah, and it looks like a regank already. This is what I wanted to see from Scorcher as well. He's heading back into the bot lane.
The Dinosaur Chainsaw is between a rock and a hard place. They're going to flash away. The Ignite is ticking. The heal is out. One more auto should be able to do it, but no. He will be able to walk it out. And now Buddha starting to come through is now level 4. They found the knockup on the Chainsaw, and Chainsaw will fall first blood to Toxic Gerbil, but now Buddha has shown up to the area, is finding his inner peace, and is able to get one back.
That's unfortunate there. Chainsaw did not quite pull Scorcher into tower range there. I really thought it was going to be, but it must have just been on the outside of it. They trade 1 for 1. It's pretty good for Toxic Gerbil in the early game here. If they're not going to see a whole lot more jungle pressure outside of the early game. Oh, but let's go top.
Oh, Fluoride is so low. Sad but happy. Come on, Gragas, I believe. The flash away from Fluoride will manage to survive. And, you know, you talked about it earlier, not expecting Gragas to be able to do too much, but that champion can do a whole lot. Dinosaur Chainsaw doing a lot. Predicting the flash.
Prediction.
What a play by this Nautilus. And it's another kill for Buddha.
I'm convinced now. Dinosaur Chainsaw isn't missing dredge lines. He's predicting the flash is what it is. And that time it worked. Simon gets dragged out of that flash. They get a first blood. And hey, you know what? Not first blood. The first kill mid. But I'm happy to eat my own words. I said there wasn't going to be a whole lot happening, and something just happened.
Listen, man, I told you, it was ever since that first flash got burnt, everything has happened. Hell, that flash occurred in the bottom lane, and we're seeing kills in the mid lane. And Simon having a very rough series, the substitute coming in to, you know, take the spot of Bug, the captain of the team, and has just not been able to make much of anything happen. Dinosaur Chainsaw getting aggressive with these Hex flashes. They're really feeling themselves now.
It might be good that it didn't land because Scorcher is here on the bot side. Will he be able to land the EQ? No, he will not. They're just going to get vision on him. That's going to be a little bit hard for Scorcher. He's been bot 3 times now. They did manage to secure the kill earlier. However, now we are seeing Buddha gradually just garnish a lead. Again, 40-25 at about the same pace that we saw it at the last game, only for different reasons. Now Scorcher is setting up around this Drake, though. Nice early 5.5-minute Drake. I love to see it. I don't know how well they're going to be able to play around it, though. They don't have a whole lot of DPS early, and we are seeing some roams. I don't know if they're actually going to
coming out.
go in.
Elucidator is level
Simon
6, so they could fight if they want. The knockup is going to go on to Chainsaw. Chainsaw is going to get stunned up, and Buddha is in the middle of 4 members. Chainsaw able to pick up one, and Buddha looking to deal some more damage. Here comes the Seraphine ultimate. It forces a flash over the wall, and it's a huge fight win there for the side of Fear. They take it 3-for-2.
That fight was really good for TA Fear. They were focusing Chainsaw down so hard, but he's so tanky that Buddha was able to just free stack all of his Conqueror Qs onto 3 people at a time and end up having his team win that fight. Really nice ultimate comes through from Elucidator's Light as well into the bot side. You see a kill go over to Alistair off that. He's got 2 assists now. It's going to be a big influx of gold onto the bot side now for TA Fear. And sad but happy. I told you, man, the Gragas into Urgot is just so... it's hard to see it go wrong. If you know what you're doing on Gragas, it's hard to lose that fight. And so far, Fluoride is getting the worst of it.
Bro, I've never seen that interaction before. That was crazy. That was weird.
Yeah, the way the game calculates Gragas belly flop is it usually takes precedence over like any
Almost
other
everything,
ability.
Yeah. Well, I more so meant the cask with the
the catch with the that was just
weird.
really good buffering. Very good for Fluoride.
Yeah, it's buffering is super sick, and you love to see that. I've just never seen those particular abilities get buffered like that before.
Chainsaw! The Hex Flash fails over the corner of the wall. It's going backwards, unfortunately.
No, he just Hex Flashed at the Drake. You just want to get the Drake a little bit faster.
Yeah, they want to get the Drake a little quicker. They are going to move into it. This was the Drake that was started at the 5.5-minute mark. Now 2 minutes later, started by TA Fear instead of Mortals, and this is going to be all theirs, completely uncontested. So what was about half of a Drake earlier for Mortals, a nice play comes through from TA Fear. They're able to turn it around and take it for themselves ult mid lane.
Oh no, Simon is in so much trouble. In the middle of 3 angry members of Fear, and Elucidator's Light will get there first of the game.
So I gotta ask, how many deaths in how many games do you think it's gonna take for Simon to realize that Chainsaw is living in his lane?
Bro, I don't know, man. It's a lot. Dinosaur Chainsaw's roams have been absolutely fantastic so far in this series. You know, Flea Pain needs to help out their mid laner somehow, some way, because they're not getting anything done in the bot lane either.
Yeah, what I was talking about earlier with the whole Alistar Chainsaw thing, Flea Pain leaves lane, Gerbil's in danger, that gets canceled out when Chainsaw is not in lane anymore. Gerbil should be moving around the map for sure to help out his team, and Toxic Gerbil getting some nice poke there.
Both of these
ultimately
carries level 6 right now. Once Dinosaur Chainsaw hits level 6, things are going to get a little bit difficult, although Flea Pain does have ways of trying to get away. Toxic Gerbil does have ways of dodging out that ultimate completely.
Yeah, the ult should probably come through off cooldown. I think Chainsaw, as soon as he hits 6, he should push R on Gerbil and just force the ultimate out. It doesn't lose them anything. It only gains them more presence in this bot lane here and makes Flea Pain a little bit more weary to stay because Alistar can still proc the ultimate off of a nice dredge line that comes through.
You can see Buddha,
Buddha
posturing here in the bot lane. Has that Black Cleaver in the inventory. It's 3, 1, and 3 right now. Do see that something not quite right here. Gerbil and Flea Pain elect to back off. Buddha kind of wants to get into this jungle. We see Jarvan hovering around as well. Really wanted a piece of that Scuttle Crab. That'll go over to Buddha. Now Buddha is ready to fight. Has a full level lead right now. Scorcher getting down below half HP. Has to flag and drag out. Buddha once more, but is rebuffed by Toxic Gerbil.
Yeah, I don't know if that was worth it there. Scorcher trying to, I mean, that was, I see he tries to steal it, right? But I don't know if it was worth even trying to steal it, because now his bot lane is getting dove, and he's at 50% health while he's on the blue buff right now. This is not a good position for Mortal.
Doesn't look like it. The charge will come off and it'll do a plate and a half, but nothing too much more. So not as much value as the first Rift Herald of last game, but still a solid amount going over to Buddha and Alistair.
Yeah, very well placed there. They're going to drop it, get some plates. They potentially could have waited a little bit longer to drop that to where they had a better setup of their dive, but maybe the call was just to go and drop and get whatever plates they could out of it. Mid lane, we're seeing a huge lead at this point from Elucidator's Light, about 30 CS, and now top lane, Sabbath Happy's going in.
Yep, trying to take down Fluoride as Fluoride is getting very low.
Dash
Does have the flash available. There's a good flash away from Fluoride to keep themselves alive, despite the fact that every time we've been up top, we're seeing Fluoride on the run. They've carved out a nice little CS lead for themselves.
Yeah, that was a really, really good play for Sad But Happy. Also, a really good flash for Fluoride. Very well timed, probably predicting the dash flash from Sad But Happy, and obviously the flash didn't come through for Happy. Maybe he predicted that Fluoride would flash, so each of these top laners just kind of in each other's heads. Buddha coming up top side, trying to look for Fluoride to finish him off, but not going to find him. Should go ahead and get onto the Krugs, as we do see Syndra TPing into the mid lane and a bot lane fight coming out in 2v3.
Scorcher Blaze waiting on the wings. Toxic Gerbil can't get close, though. It's a matter of if the king gets to somebody. Dinosaur Chainsaw with a good hook right before the Cataclysm comes down. They burn their flash, but they live.
Yeah, that was a really well-timed dredge line from Chainsaw. I don't know if it was on purpose, but Scorcher Blaze just getting the Cataclysm down a millisecond too late for Chainsaw to be able to dredge line his way out of there. And Alistar and Chainsaw, they get out without really using any sums. Alistar didn't use heal or flash in that, held on to those. Gerbil did flash.
Yeah, Gerbil has no flash. Chainsaw, they burnt the flash as well, but it's just been the story of Scorcher Blaze so far is that they've tried so hard to make plays happen. They've sacrificed jungle camps for it, and yet it just feels like they're so close to getting something done, but they're just not able to close out on the kill.
And at least in this game, they are down less gold at 12.5 than they were in the last game. It was a significantly higher gold difference within the next 3 minutes or so. I think it was closer to about 7k, maybe 6 or 7k, something like that.
The game was nearly over at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
At the last game, so
that's another thing.
You can see it's still almost a 2,000 gold lead for Buddha here, which is very, very bad if you are a Scorcher Blaze. It just feels like Buddha has been living rent-free in the head of Scorcher Blaze, and now Flea Pain is going to see the pain shortly. Gets knocked out of trying to get away, but a little bit of help from Xayah does not get them out. The increased range, not enough. And Buddha claims another soul, and they're heading for their second Drake of the game.
It's going to be a Hextech Drake picked up this time. A solo kill up on the top side for Fluoride.
Okay.
Picking up Sad But Happy. Looks like he was able to chew him up with his ultimate. Now he's going to push into the tower. Probably maybe take 1.5 plates. He might be able to take 2 off of this wave, but he is very low. He might be worried about staying.
I still stand by my statement. Still stand by my statement that every time we've seen Fluoride, they've been losing to Sad But Happy, and this time we did not see him. And we do see that Simon was able to pick up a kill in the mid lane on Elucidator's Light. No flash burnt from the Seraphine, but nice to see Simon with a little bit of a pulse here. And this game is much closer than the last one, but are they going to be able to find Flea Pain? Buddha is like, hey, listen, you're not out of here yet. A great dredge line. Simon with a double stun as they're going to look to turn onto Flea Pain. Flea Pain has to move to avoid the double knockup, but they are able to fancy feet their way out. Now Gerbil looking for more. They're going to get the root down, and Chainsaw will fall. Fluoride shows up to the party, and it's going to be a big shutdown going over to Fluoride as Buddha has fallen.
Immortals with a very, very good play. TA Fear getting a little bit too ahead of themselves, looking to limit test on that fight. Chainsaw hits a nice dredge line around the corner, kind of wanted, curves the bullet around and hits Flea Pain. And then Flea Pain excellently turning back around, like you said, to avoid the double knockup onto Simon. And I would say because of that, he was able to turn and really do work in that fight. Then we saw Fluoride manage to TP after the that was right exactly when the enhanced TPs came through, if I'm not mistaken. I was able to make a big play on the bot side, and I guess it makes sense why they changed the TP. They don't want that happening early on in the game, but it still just really puts a crunch on top laners.
And TA Fear coming through, seeing the Rift Herald getting taken and everybody else getting out. So this is Mortals finally having an opportunity to maybe make something happen. You've got this Rift Herald. Your top laner is 2-0 with the CS lead. Your mid laner's down in CS, but has 3 kills, has their mythic completed. This is really the first time all series that Mortals has been on relatively even footing with Fear, despite the gold lead being about 1,500.
Yeah, not quite ahead, and especially after that first tower was taken, solo gold for Alistair on the Kaisa brings them up to about, like you said, 1,500 on the gold lead. But they're by no means out of this. This is going to still be a very back and forth game. It really just takes one mistake for Immortals to get back into this, right? Like one all in, just a little bit too much from Buddha and Chainsaw, and suddenly they're back on the map and looking to get some gold, some items under their belts. Fluoride, 2 kills on him now on this Urgot. Like you said, later on in the game, virtually unkillable. 4 stacks only on the Roa for Sad But Happy, and Fluoride's going for that Ravenous Hydra next up, or Titanic. I don't know which one Urgot builds right now, but Merc Tread's finished on him as well, has a pretty solid gold lead, and is going to look to escalate that, and Scorcher with that Rift Herald now is surely going to help trade back a tower.
What's really big here for Mortals is that those kills, like you mentioned, they're all on the members you want them on. 2 apiece for your bot laner and your top laner, 3 for your mid laner. You know, Jarvan, who's really just there to kind of facilitate. No kills, plenty of assists. Flea Pain as well, no kills, plenty of assists. His kills are definitely spread out, making everybody potential to be a threat in a fight.
Oh.
Buddha drops the ultimate, Flea Pain wisely dipping out of there. So a huge cooldown for this next upcoming fight.
I can't say that would have been worth it at all. I would have saved my ultimate for when J4 looks to ult, when Rakan looks to ult, and you have your Seraphine with you, your Nautilus with you. Instead, uses it to try and take out Rakan on Flea Pain. Would have been really hard to kill him. He had flash, he had the quickness, he's got his dash. It's hard to lock him down in a 1v1 situation like that, but Alistair in a little bit of trouble here. 1v3 in the mid lane. I don't think they're looking to dive. It does need to be careful. Hecarim Nautilus hovering on the bot side, and Fluoride just solo destroying turrets in the top.
Yeah, and you have to think that Buddha may be feeling the pressure a little bit. You know, 4 kills, that's a heavy mantle to bear. You know, your mid laner's got 1, your bot laner's got 1. You know, trying to maybe pull the trigger, be like, guys, we can make a play. I'm really strong, and you know, that happens, and really it meant that Fluoride was able to stay up top uncontested, take out that turret, and is now going to show up with the rest of the team as Gragas is going to get in the area too. Rift Herald getting dropped down here in the mid lane with Dragon spawning in about 10 seconds. Dinosaur Chainsaw doing their best to protect this vision, but team had to take care of the Rift Herald. Now Buddha's trying to go in. Buddha's going to land a fear. This is a 3-man charm from Elucidator's Light, and the knockups are everywhere. Alistair completely untouched. Fluoride to land a big fear on the backside. Alistair's got 2. Alistair is looking for more. God, jeez, just actually untouched with the triple kill and running that fight. TA Fear got the jump on.
Could not have asked for a better fight for TA Fear. It's exactly what I wanted to see, and then they immediately did it. They let Mortals group up and layered their ultimates on top of each other. Look how well it turns out for them. Early on in the game, yes, you can look for picks. However, at this stage of the game, you need to be playing as a team. That is what you drafted for your team comp, and they played that excellently. They lose Hecarim in the process, but he was kind of just pushing Q in the J4 ult, and that's really all you can ask for him after he pushes R. They're going to pick up the Dragon after that as well. We're going to see a 19.5-minute soul point Drake here, and means we're going to see a little bit of a later soul altogether, but still a very quick pace of this game nonetheless.
Yeah, really impressive fight there from Fear. Just the fact that so much space was created by Buddha and Dinosaur Chainsaw. Dinosaur Chainsaw, I think, knocked up 4 members that were in the area with their ultimate, their depth charge. And Alistair just was allowed to cook. You know, that dude was out there cooking, picked up 3, now 2 items. Everybody's got a suite of mythics going on, and it's so much gold now. 2,100 gold lead. or gold difference, I should say, between these AD carries, despite the fact that Toxic Gerbil has had a fine game for themselves.
Yeah, it's just that big fight right there was really good for Alistair, and now Dinosaur Chainsaw caught out.
Could be in trouble, but so Buddha coming through and getting some CC down. Gonna try to split the fight with Sad but Happy. Here comes a teleport. Backside of the fight, Alistair near 3 members. Has to contest with Fluoride. Seraphine ultimate is well timed, and
Wow.
Alistair will live through unleashed power, and the Baron has been started up for TA Fear. 0 to 100 real quick as they've taken complete control.
Insanely well played there. What I thought was going to be a misplay, honestly, by TA Fear going in and trying to save Dinosaur Chainsaw. And I'm thinking, why risk it? And then the TPs come through. Alistair gets an insane flank on the top side of the map there and just absolutely one-shots and goes just about as well as you could hope for. Yet again, 2 back-to-back very, very good team fights for TA Fear. One picks up the Dragon, one picks up the Baron. They're escalating the gold lead to about 5k now. Close to 6 after picking up this tower in the top, and this is all uphill from here.
There are 2 wolves inside TA Fear. One of them wins a fight and takes dragons. The other one wins fights and takes barons. And I don't know if mortals have the dog in them to be able to stay in this game. I mean, it has been blown wide open, nearly a 6,000 gold lead at this point. Alistair has just gotten more and more funds in the pocket, now on 3 completed items, and he's just absolutely leapfrogging Toxic Gerbil on the other side. And the question is, do mortals have an answer for Alistair? I don't really think there's a member on that team that can really answer this guy. And now we see Buddha going deeper and deeper. Drops that ultimate, forcing multiple members off.
Buddha is just pushing R on cooldown with just reckless abandon, just wanting kills on repeat. Can't fault him for it. It's not netting a whole lot, but when it does get kills, it gets multiple and wins big team fights for his team. Flea Pain on the other side of the wall, going to get some vision down on the jungle just to see Buddha finish off that wolf camp there. The rest of TA Fear living in Immortals jungle now. It's hard for them to push up, hard for them to do anything right now. It's just genuinely hard for them to play into this game at this point. TA Fear are playing a very solid front-to-back team comp now that they have actually grouped together. Eludicator's Light is landing insane crescendos on cooldown as well, and Mortals aren't doing a whole lot against it because they kind of have to run in a straight line in this fight. They can't really look for flanks because no one can get into the back line unless they TP. That's a lot of resources to see. So it's hard for them to get back into it. Definitely still a chance if they look for picks, because that is kind of what their team comp is looking like right now, is just a pick comp. It's just all about who they can actually pick off.
The big question, Fury, is that in a minute 20 seconds, this dragon's going to come up. And will Mortals still be able to win if they are not able to stop Fear from getting this soul? I don't know if the answer is yes. Take a look. There's no heal cut on anybody on the side of Mortals. And then, you know, if they're going to fight for this, they could lose the fight. If they let it go, the next fight is just going to be all Fear. They're not really going to be able to stop them. Fluoride hasn't gotten to that unstoppable point of the game yet. But you can see Syndra's damage is starting to come through.
Oh man, this is just every Seraphine's dream right now. Look at the way Mortals are playing this fight. They are just scurrying around in a circle of like they're ants. So the minute someone pushes R, it is going to be hectic. Here we go.
Buddha trying to get in there. Now they're trying to sequester the fight off a little bit. Hallucinator's Light, we're looking for that. They did land the charm. They're going to whiff the ultimate, but it's not going to matter at all. Alistair on top of Scorch Blaze, and they're going to be able to find another kill. Flea Pain is golden in the middle of a lot of angry members. They're trying to get away, but Buddha will be able to take them down as well. And it is another team fight wipe for TA Fear.
Yeah, that's going to be an 8k gold lead for them now. Drake spawns in at the most perfect time possible. Buddha's going to go ahead and start that up. The rest of his team are going to move on to the mid and bot lanes and start shoving those in. Try to take that bot lane inner tower. Try to get the wave into the inhib tower in the mid. And the Fluoride trying to get a trade. Might even just do so against Dinosaur. Oh no, Alistair is a little bit too strong. Throws up the crying Bumblebee as well.
Alistair said, no worries, I got you, buddy. You're not going down on my watch. That is true bot lane love right there between AD carry and support. This Drake should be going down shortly. Another turret being taken by the side of TA Fear. Just waiting. Finally, Buddha was able to take it down. Ran out of mana. Took him a little while. But now TA Fear, if they weren't firmly in the driver's seat before, they are the bus driver of the battle bus.
Yeah, and just to show you how strong Buddha was there as well, solos the Drake, comes out full health. The only issue was that he had really no mana left. Sad but happy actually manages to take the red buff away from Scorched Blaze and force him to flash, and he's going to say, see you guys later.
That's
gets
a 5
over the
level
wall.
difference. He's level 16.
Yeah, and he outsmited J4.
A lot of ages is busted, bro. I gotta be honest with you. That extra level that you get, like, it just puts you so far ahead of everybody else. I mean, Sad but Happy's played a solid game, but let's not pretend that it was a flawless game by any means. You know, Fluoride had a bit of an advantage, but you know, you get the Rod of Ages buff. You've been, you know, in the solo lanes a lot. Now you've got a 5-level lead over the opposing jungler, and this is what happens when you get behind on Jarvan.
Exactly. Yeah, we saw him. I mean, he was proactive in the early game. He went bot lane a lot, though. And like I said, it would be kind of hard to kill Alistair and Chainsaw, and it obviously was. They have not gotten to kill Alistair all game. I would have liked to see him go topside more, go mid more, because Sad but Happy was winning the fights. However, he was still getting very low into Fluoride. And now, 2 levels up over Fluoride. Will he be able to take the fight is the question. Doesn't look like he wants it.
They have not been able to kill Alistair yet. There's still a lot of game to go, but given the fact that, this could be their chance. Scorcher Blaze going in for it, but unable to follow up, and now Buddha is showing up, and that is a very angry horse. You do not touch my carry and get away with it as they're going to land a multi-man Fear. Alistair, though, not close. The quickness coming through, but going down is Flea Pain, and the next target is Scorcher Blaze, and Alistair pulls out the reverse card. Call an ambulance, but not for me. Double digits in kills. And another nice hook. They're not done quite yet, as Simon is going to be the next one to fall. It's a triple kill for Alistair. It's a quarter kill for Alistair. Oh, you can see, like a heat-seeking missile, they're headed for the Urgot. But Sad but Happy said, I'm not letting you have all the fun. They'll clean up the last one. And TA Fear have stamped their mark on this series and are showing that they are a team to be feared and BOL master.
In a total of about 50 minutes of game time, they take a quick 2-0 over Mortal. Mortals had a good game too. I mean, it's better than their game 1, obviously, for multiple different reasons. That was mean. Man, that was just mean. That's the only way I can say that. Mortals definitely put up more of a fight.
Nexus, guys. Let them go. Let them live. They got families. Don't give them any more kills. Save your KDAs.
Man, Alistar got another kill.
We got a stacks tracking page. Save the KDA somehow.
They're just padding them. TA Fear, come out your victors in a quick 2-0 tonight in week 1 of BOL Masters.
I am so impressed by the way Fear played. I mean, they looked really, really good. The early game was a little shaky this time around. It was a much more even game. Not quite sure if that was Fear not playing as well as they could have, or that was Mortals waking up determined to have a better early game, and they certainly did. But after that, you know, their team fighting prowess is really unmatched, and Elucidator's Light did so much in a lot of those fights. But really, Alistair's positioning was near perfect.
Yeah, unkillable all game, a mix of just very good spacing, positioning, and a mixture of having a really good team behind him and appeal for him. I would say the biggest thing about that one is that Mortals definitely had more of an early game than TA Fear in just terms of the draft, you know, with having that J4, being able to move around the map a lot more than Hecarim really can early. Hecarim obviously is more of a late early to mid game champ, and then even into the late game he's still pretty good, but definitely peaks at about between 10-15 minutes, I would say, in terms of gank ability. So as soon as he could, after he was level 6, we saw it. He was ulting on cooldown, and every time he did it, he either got a flash, caught someone out of position, or got a really big team fight for his team. So overall, Fear just played exceptionally well with what they had. They drafted exactly what they wanted. They played exactly what that draft wanted and just ran away with it.
There's really only one more thing I need to see out of Fear. I got to see Sad but Happy in a composition where he's allowed to cook, man. You know, Gragas you can do obviously a lot on that champion, but you know, I want to see some. If this guy can play things like Camille, I mean, I know he's a Darius player. You know, maybe getting some enchanters to pair him up with a Darius or something like that. So we'll have to see that for the future. But so far, TA Fear has really come out to a huge start to this season. Now 4-0 in games, I believe, which is fantastic. And I mean, you can see why. I mean, this team, you know, we mentioned that 3/5 of this team come from Converse University on their esports team, a well-known team in the C-Law space. You know, Buddha, Alistair, and Dinosaur Chainsaw have done a lot for this team. You plug in two very solid solo laners that are going to contribute, and you've got a recipe for a very dangerous team here in BOL Masters.
Absolutely. I can't see them slowing down anytime soon. I don't know who's going to knock them off, but whoever does is going to be your next contenders. You know, if someone does manage to beat them, it's like, you know, your number one contender. You see someone, some nobody come up and beat the champion, and suddenly they're the best in the world now. So we'll see what happens next week. I'm extraordinarily excited. Hopefully you guys will see us on the cast again. No more skips coming up. We'll find our way through it. But Yanni, you have anything to send us off on?
Other than the fact that we hope that Immortals are able to kind of clean things up a little bit now, sitting at 0-2, 1-4 in games. Hopefully they can shake off that slow start. I mean, a lot of teams seem to have that issue with, you know, the first game doesn't get off on the right foot and they're not really able to do too much, and then, you know, it makes the series very difficult to win. So hopefully Immortals are able to turn it around. But we do got to give some shout outs to the streams that we got for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, we're going to have Platinum Week 3 at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You know, it's daylight savings now. If you haven't changed your clocks, you're probably not here because you wouldn't know that the time had changed, or you are here and are wondering why the stream's about to be over. That'll be casted by Nyarko and Shibby with Pop-Tart behind the glass. And then we, of course, on Wednesday have Gold Week 3. That'll be Clown Gaming IT versus DZG Arcadia, casted by Romeo, and we don't know yet. Somebody pair somebody up with Romeo, guys. Come on.
Yep, and then IBS on Thursday. It's gonna be Event Horizon Kaizen versus CB Clowns. But that is all for us tonight. It's gonna be me, Fury, alongside Yanni as usual, and Ejinx on production.
Thank
you all for coming out here tonight and enjoying these streams. We will see you all next week for Masters, tomorrow for Plat. Bye.
See ya.